to it.
We already
Before she
live.
even hit live, we was already
We're actually live right now.
Now we're live though. Now we're
officially-
actually live. So stop talking about that so they don't hear it.
live.
wait for the people to come in
We
here.
are actually officially live. Thank you for joining
Okay,
us for
here we
Bedtime
go.
Stories.
Hello, everyone.
Here.
Hello, people.
I'm Sin Rose.
And I'm Red. And welcome to the Bedtime Stories. Hello.
And we've got some wonderful guests here today, our friends that we love and admire. The wonderful Mark Francis
Hello.
and Kamala.
Yay.
Hi. I speak.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here with us. I'm pouring myself a little nightcap. It's been a day. It's been a day.
What are you drinking, Red? What is it?
I'm drinking white wine.
Where's my drink? I'm drinking.
White.
I have my night juice.
What is night juice? That's what it's come to, y'all. COVID night juice.
What's in the night juice? I want to know.
It's after you have kids, you need to add a little bit of some vodka and some iced tea.
Mine is tequila and iced tea with a little splash of lemonade.
White wine. And what do you got? What do you have over there, Kamala?
I have watermelon kombucha, but I had 2 glasses of wine with my mom just before this.
So it's balanced.
So I'm all sauced up already.
Balance.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a bottle, but my mom beat me to it, so I'm already.
Oh.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. This Bedtime Stories is turning out to be something really special, and we want all of our special folks that we know have stories to join us here. That's just in general, but for those people that don't know you, we'd love to hear from you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you think we invited you here.
Okay, ladies first.
Oh, I was gonna say you first, Mark. I think I'm here because I'm a DJ and I'm your friend and I love you guys and I've been hanging out forever. And I've been working in nightlife for a while. So that's a lot of history there. And I love what you guys do. I think this is so needed, just documenting our nightlife culture. So kudos. And the opportunity to chat with you and Mark, who I'm a major fan of.
I get at it now.
Awesome. Yes. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Mark Francis, they're with the Club Shelter NYC. I guess I feel like I'm the young buck in the crew. I'm on the been going to the scene, got into the scene when I was more 21. So all y'all see me grow. So I think where you had me here, because you seen the growth in me and seeing how I grew and where the future is gonna hold in this house scene.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. A little fancy and deep. Okay.
I like it. You want to start with a question, Red, or shall I?
You shall, because I'm still getting my setup together on my phone.
Okay, because Red is the technical genius. I'll get started. No problem. So one of the things that I always like to know is what was the moment or the thing that drove you to, have this become a part of your life, right? Because this is not just, a part-time thing, or it's really an integral part of who you are. So I'd love to know what that story was, or how did that journey begin?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
What got me into? I guess so. 1992. As a kid, I came back from California and I had my first radio. And having my first radio, and I sat on my porch when I got back because I was away to California for the summer. And I remember sitting on my porch and I heard somebody with the big boombox playing "Follow Me," and I was like, "What is that?" And my brother had a tape by DJ Wimpy B from Jersey City, and he was playing some house music. Follow Me, the dub side of Follow Me was on it. A song called Shelter, doo-doo, Shelter,
Yeah, I
doo-doo.
know that
Oh,
song.
yeah, it was an old classic.
Come to
And I remember, yeah. But I didn't know what they were talking about. I was probably like in seventh, like sixth to seventh grade. And I remember having the radio. I was into plus Stretch Armstrong and Bobita. I was a big fan of them. And having listening to them, I taped, and then I just one day listened to 107.5 and was live at Club America. And I just got hooked on from house music back then. And I was just listening to Club America, then turning to Tony Humphries. And I'm in that era hearing Hot 97 was not Hot 97. Hot 97 was Louis Vega and Frankie Knuckles at 12 o'clock back in the day. They used to play Room 2, what was it? Room 2 Deep. Remember that? It was a group back then. All that house music stuff, Hot 97 used to play. So I got into it as a kid. And I think in high school, I got more into it as DJing. And I was playing the music, DJing, but I was playing a little bit of hip hop. But I couldn't find the house records. Like I didn't know about dance tracks. I didn't know about satellite. I knew about downtown and rock and soul. And I couldn't find my thing. Down tracks and rock and soul. So I couldn't find the records that I wanted. I bought records supported by this. And that came to 2002. The vinyl era was over. So it came to what? The digital world, right? I kind of stopped DJing, but I still was collecting and just always love house music. So saying that, I still do it now and DJ and do that, but it's just something that's been in my ear being living into house music when I was a kid, since being in sixth or seventh grade. As a little kid, asked my brother, "What's this?" And he was like, "You like this?" I said, "Yeah." And I've always been a music lover on all aspects. I just remember when I didn't have the radio with the tape deck, I had this one radio, and it was a Haitian, like it was like African and Haitian music playing. And I remember as a kid listening to it, and I fell asleep listening to it because I liked it. I woke up, it was Stretch Arm and Barbito, right? And I'm like, what is this hip hop? And they were cursing and everything. And I didn't know, all I knew was like, this was a Thursday night. So I used to go back on a Thursday again, listen to it again, and try to catch it. And to wake up like 4 in the morning, listening to it. I remember one time I overslept and missed it. I was pissed off. Man, there's times I was in my another room taping it in 8th grade up to 7 in the morning, taping Stretch Arm or Barbito. But I feel listening to that hip hop style back then and to the house music, what made me really DJ was Stretch Armstrong too. Stretch Armstrong has a key for me to DJ because he was so smooth.
Yeah.
But I loved house music. I didn't really have a DJ that I really liked in the house music. I loved listening to it. But back then I didn't have like a main DJ like I say I liked. But the DJing part of it came really from Stretch Armstrong, why I wanted to DJ. That's just a little more of why this house music I always loved it since I was a kid. So.
Nice.
Very nice.
I like it. Stretch is one of my favorites too. So
yeah. And I met him and I told him the history.
Yeah.
I told him my history why I DJ. And he was like, wow, he didn't know. And he was with these girls. He's like, see, I told y'all I did something for somebody in my life.
That's awesome. Awesome. What about you, Kamala? What made you have this be a part of like who you are?
Well, I could start this at a lot of points in my life. And since I was just hanging out with my mom, it felt appropriate to go to the origin story. So my mom and my dad met at the Cheetah. She was apparently, according to my aunt, a cheetah babe. And she used to go with the crew from Chelsea, 17th Street, that was mostly Latino back in the days, in the 80s and the 70s, with telling my age. And she used to go to the Cheetah, as did a lot of people. It was like they did Live at the Cheetah, Motown, Live at the Cheetah. And my father was playing there. He was in Mongo Santa Maria's band at the time. And they were both reading Siddhartha, and the main character in Siddhartha is Kamala. So hence how I got the name Kamala. And I say Kamala, Kamala is not how I pronounce it. Kamala is how they pronounce it in India. But the fact that that has become a major name now is like astonishing to me, like crazy. And I say Kamala, like Kamala, like in Spanish we say Kamala. So it's different pronunciation. It's, you know.
So wait, how do you say it?
I say Kamala.
Kamala. Okay.
With the emphasis on the middle syllable, you know, as opposed to Kamala.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, you know, it's like the Latin. I think it's the Latin way to say it, or the Japanese way to say it. Like we just roll with the way the vowels go. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. That's kind of how it started. My whole life was like disco balls and block parties and music and radio and going out, and I didn't actually get to go out. I got to listen to, you know, radio, like, you know, Silver Shadow and Bentley's on the radio, like the DJs playing live from whatever club, Timmy Regisford on the radio, like as a teenager. So before I even got to the club, I already was like hearing the club at home and like knowing more about music than a lot of people would, you know. But yeah, I think that was the origin of it. And then just going out by the time I got to 16 and going to Studio 54 and going to Mars and going to the World and going to MK and going to all the clubs that were open, Nels. That just was the entry point for me, you know, and it stayed after that, like.
Right, because that was like a era where we were like in the clubs almost every single day.
That
every
was like
night of the week there was something. It was like Nels one night, and then you go into the tunnel another night. Or
it was our thesis. It was our thesis. We didn't even know it. It was our thesis. We were already doing a thesis in something we didn't even know.
It's true.
It is true.
I wanna just ask you to please tell us what your nationality is, because like I had somebody ask me the other day thinking that you were Indian, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure Kamala's not Indian.
Yeah, my mom's Puerto Rican, and my great grandmother came from Puerto Rico to Chelsea in 1925, and we've been here ever since. And my mom's father is Cuban, though I'm not too familiar with the Cuban side. I grew up with my stepfather, my mother, and mostly Puerto Rican. And my biological father, Carter Jefferson, is a jazz musician, and he's African American, Native American. So I have a mix of indigenous and Latino and Afro and a little Spanish and Euro, and, you know, that, I don't know, amalgamation of a lot of different cultures.
Basically,
with an emphasis on Afro-Latin. Afro-Latin all the way.
I mean, when I think of you, though, I think of you as definitely like a New York City girl, because like I've had so many conversations with you over the years over just like real New York City shit, you know?
Yeah, we're the club kids. We're the kids that were here for all of that 80s and 90s culture and 70s Renaissance in New York, everything that sprung from that, all the music, the house, hip hop, freestyle, R&B, soul, like all of that happening all around us, shaping us, you know? So we kind of all carry that.
Because Kamala, you're from that era with the vinyl, and not that many girls played the vinyl back in the days.
You don't know that. You don't know.
Well, I know a few, but I'm saying, like, I say this now, there's a lot of girl DJs, but they never know that she's from that era. When I got your history, I was like, wow, she come from back then, playing vinyl, playing records. And a lot of girls didn't come through that. He's all in the digital world now.
Yeah, I started in 96, 97, but I was collecting since the 80s, and the 70s, even like my mom's record collection. And then you know, I worked at record dance tracks, which you mentioned earlier, because I was just there all the time shopping. And like one day Stefan was like, you know, you're here at least once a week. Why don't you just, you know, be here once a week, and you can write the reviews for all the new releases that come out. And so I did that for a year. And I used to come in, and I would love my chance to get behind the decks. I hated having to put used records away, and you know, but you had to take the good with the fun with the less fun, and then you figured out where everything was, and you got turned on to everything, so it was always good. But it was such a great learning experience, and even you mentioned Downtown Records and Vinyl Mania. My uncle before me, who you guys should have on here, because if you really want nightlife stories, he can give you some really good, like juicy stories about Larry Levan coming to Vinyl Mania when he was working there, and you know, just going. He used to go, yeah. He used to play with Pal Joey at like at Tunnel and Nels. I used to go to him and be like, this record, it goes like this, and do you have it? And can I record? Can you put it on a tape for me? And he would have the vinyl before me. So he, you know, so that was always kind of existing, that lure of music and the format that it was on. And even now, like it still exists. Like it's still probably the best format to have own music, in my opinion, versus like virtually or streaming, or it's not yours, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
What's Uncle's name?
Oh, my uncle Paul Roldos from Fulton, Chelsea, New York. He worked at Downtown Records for years, and then he worked at Vinyl Mania for years and years and years. So they know a lot. They used to go to Roxy back in the day, and you know, do all, and the garage. They used to do all that fun. So I love hearing his stories. I came a little after the garage. I wasn't allowed to go out yet. So it wasn't until Louis was playing at Studio. This was post the Steve Rubell era, and it was like become like 18 and under parties.
Yeah.
And everybody would get in for $5, and you didn't need ID. And it was really geared toward, like, I can't imagine teenagers clubbing the way we had the opportunity to club back then today, unless it's like a rave or something completely unsupervised, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we really literally had it rolled out for us. The whole nightlife world was just right there for us as kids. But I feel like I want to hear more from Mark and his amazing productions, because I feel like
I wanted to ask him also, like,
I got a question for Mark. So Mark, I know you from back when at the shelter.
Correct.
My original memories of you is Mark would come to the club. Mark would fall asleep at the club. He would take a nap. He would always sleep with his head back. It was a thing. It was normal. It was what he always did. He'd wake up and be part of the party again. But a lot of people would like to know, including me. Now you're part of like the shelter, I guess, production crew, that whole kind of thing. How did that happen?
2000. So 2007, 7 or 8. I lived at this building called the Colonnades in Newark. Used to play basketball. Used to run and play basketball with Adam Rios. I didn't know who Adam Rios was. We used to play basketball all the time against each other, or you'd be on each other's team. And I remember one time coming to the shelter, because I used to go to the shelter already, and I used to hang with Omar Abdallah. He used to sell the CDs. I'd be outside selling CDs with Omar, so people know me. And around that time, my sister gave me my first computer, and I guess on LimeWire, and back in that day, like the LimeWire. So I used to download all this house music, right? I used to get the titles of the house music song, just download all this stuff, because I was like, oh man, I just want to get my own music. And that was the file sharing network era back in the day. So I used to, at that time of 2008, 2009, or 2008, 2007, the digital era took over, so people wasn't getting promos and stuff like that. So meeting Adam, I actually went to Shelter one time. I think Shelter got shut down before it came to Greenhouse. It was open on Varick, right? Shelter got shut down. Oh, something happened, it got shut down. And I saw Adam come out the door. And I was like, oh, you listen to house music? He was like, yeah. I said, oh, for real? But I didn't know his name. I never knew his name. And I said, what's your name? He's like, Adam Rios. I was like, Adam Rios? Wait, you're the producer with Timmy? He's like, yeah. I said, wow. And we exchanged numbers and we communicated. So I think at that time of that digital era too, it was a site. No, not a site. It was a. Remember everybody called. Remember AIM. Remember AIM. It's remember AIM,
America
Kamala.
Online Instant
Yes,
Messenger.
you used to share
Oh
music
yeah,
through
is
that.
that
That was part
AOL?
of
Is that
AOL.
AOL
It was
Messenger?
That was
AOL Instant Messenger.
Look
correct.
how
So people,
how we talk about it like it's so archaic. Like
Right.
what?
yeah,
You said it all
because
cool, like,
AOL.
hey.
that was the way of sharing. That was the way of sharing music. So at that time, I guess I used to
Right.
find a lot of different stuff, and I used to send it to Adam, like, "Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Check this out." And he would get it, and he would give it to Timmy. But he would give it to Timmy, saying, "This is my Jersey Connect," right? I didn't know Timmy. And Pito, that was down with Shelter too. Pito, Miss Pito, I hope you listen to Pito. Hello. Pito, Timmy was like, where does Adam getting his music from? And he's like, from this kid, Mark Francis from Jersey, because I seen Pito at the parties dancing with him. And wound up, Pito had my number, gave it to Timmy, and Timmy called me and he says, hey, you give Adam music, right? I was like, yeah. I was all shocked and scared, like, yeah. He was like, because way before that, one time Timmy kicked me out the booth. That's another story. But I was like, yeah, I give him music. Yo, you have a good ear. I said, thank you. He said, yo, man, um, send me a whole bunch of other music that you got, like something like that you find. Because back then was another thing called, if you remember Kamala, I don't know if read it or no, it was a site called Aphrodisiac. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Aphrodisiac was a site with all Afro house,
Yeah, I
all different
remember
type
it.
of
Damn,
stuff.
you're drawing my memory right now.
Yeah. So at that time I wasn't DJing, I was just collecting. I love music. So I was just getting different stuff. So when Timmy told me, hey, he liked what I was giving Adam some different stuff, I was like, he's like, yo, just come by to the club and bring me some music. Now we're gonna backtrack. There was no flash drives back then. There was no hard drives back then.
Right.
The way I did this music was on DVD. You put you go into the deep. You can load 4 gigs of music on DVDs. So before I was giving Timmy like CDs, just putting them all the stuff on CDs. I had the hard drive, but I didn't want to bring my whole hard drive to him, right? So I had to figure out a way, like,
That'd be a whole nother story.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I gotta find a way how I'm gonna give him music. And I think he suggested it, or somebody told me, like, yo, you can upload Toast. Toast is on the Apple site. Upload Toast and put your DVD in, and then you can actually store music too, still on the DVDs.
DVDs.
And I used to put like 4 gigs of music on the DVDs and give it to Timmy. He still got the DVDs to this day.
4 gigs is quite a lot of music too. Actually.
It is.
So like,
well, yeah, it is. But you know what? Now, when they were MP3s, yes. But now when you have waves, 4 gigs can be like this,
right?
Because you can
true.
get 4 gigs can be like 10
Yeah.
songs,
Yeah,
because
right.
it's high quality. So I used to give him the music, and he just had me start doing the business part of it, like. When the Pevin Everett project Burning Hot, they constructed that. I connected with Tribe and make sure everything was good. Hey, Pevin, crap it right here. Make sure the paperwork is done here. This was done here. Hey, Mark, go connect with this person. All right, I make sure that person is there. And that's how I got involved. I was Timmy's A&R guy. And to this day, I'm still give music to Timmy every month. I haven't stopped. And that's how our relationship, like to this day, I'm still giving them 6 or 7, 8 gigs of music. And it's not like it's a job, it's just I love music. And he's a music person too. But that he would literally sit there and listen to everything. One time I gave him 8 gigs of Afro House. When I mean Afro House, tribal, like slow stuff. He sat there literally and went to everything and made like a whole 2 albums off of it. He said it was torture, but because he didn't know what the hell he was saying, he found some good stuff in it. So that's how I got down from Adam. Adam is the key. And to this day, you know, if I never met Adam, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I always say that. That's why I always have love for Adam. Meeting him, and he connected me with Timmy, and just rebuild the relationship. The DJ part was just, it came with Timmy like, yo, start DJing. And I remember my first time he told me, that's a different story. He forced me into it. I was like, but you know, I'm happy I did it. You know, I'm glad where it took me to, and I'm happy I would do it all over again. So it became an opportunity.
That's
nice.
awesome.
Well, that's a story.
That is
nice.
I still got the first computer too, by the way. The Apple computer that he gave me in 2008. I still use it every day.
nice.
I can't update it no more, but it's Betsy. It's good. Yeah.
I have a question for Mark. Do you remember there was a site that came out after Aphrodisia closed, and it was also almost all South African house? And what were they? You remember that? It was a little more.
It was a few of them.
There was one that was like almost there, like in terms of like consistency, like format. It looked like Beatport, or you know, it was really organized. I forget what it was called. It was a good site. I wish I had. I probably have to look at my old computer.
We had so many different good sites to get music back then, and Aphrodisiac was just a lot of stuff that we played in the shelter was off Aphrodisiac, and it was an Afro site. It just crashed because I think a lot of people were some of the artists were getting robbed. They said, and hitting the site and telling them they didn't have permission. It was so much stuff like that. Just like LimeWire. When LimeWire shut down, I was on another site called SoulSeek. You ever heard of SoulSeek?
SoulSeek is still up.
Word! SoulSeek was a site that if y'all had a page, I had to connect to you and ask Red permission to get to her files. And say,
no,
hey,
that's
Red,
only if the person setting said you had to ask.
Yes, look at you, Red. You know your education, huh? So
that's only if they said you had to ask. If not, just get it.
You could just get it.
I used to go in there like, oh, I gotta wait for this person to add me, and you see like the stuff they had, you're like, wow, oh, he got some good stuff. I need to go on here. SoulSeek, that was my site right there. SoulSeek.
SoulSeek is still happening.
It still exists.
Wow.
But you didn't hear.
Well, it's so many sites now that to a point that you just be like, okay, it is what it is, you know. The music is going to be out there, streaming, it's going to be out there, so it is what it is now with this music.
What would you say is the best thing that we could use to continue to like support this culture and its growth to the youth?
To the youth. I feel lately I've been hearing like I'm very strong about the youth being involved. And like sometimes these people don't like the youth with the circle dance, and they don't get it that I like when I see a party with a circle dance. I had to explain this to somebody. If you see a party and they start circle dancing, that's like a goal to me. Like, wow, I did something. Because they're into it. Where the older folks don't enjoy it.
Even though the older folks created it.
Correct. That's so funny. They did. To me, in this scene, I think the youth, I love what Funk Fox does. I'm seeing that we're getting more youth involved in Jersey and more dancers involved in Jersey that we did before. We didn't have that. And I like that. We just got to be consistent, stay fresh, and be open to them. Because when I used to do the Tyrone Francis parties back then, Tyrone did a thing where he connected with Conrad, and Conrad would have these dancers come and give him a little discount. But then the older heads would get mad, like, why are you giving them a discount? And I can't, you know, but to me it was bringing energy.
You got a job. No.
Correct. And my thing was sometimes don't tell that you're giving these discounts to the older
right.
Like I would let the young kids come in, but because they talk, hey, where you going? I'm going to Francis party today. I'm going this party today. I'm going over here. And they're gonna come. And then you know what? Some kids are gonna pay, and they don't drink water. So to me, it's just open up to them. If you see what they're doing, push the avenues, get them involved. What you're doing, like, hey, like I did something this past weekend, like a virtual thing that's coming out, like a little own Jersey City. Dre, what happened, Kamala? I own New Jersey's. I own New Jersey's.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I own New Jersey's boiler room, and got some dancers involved. So it's just, I feel we just gotta keep them engaged because they're here. Because if you look at it, I got educated where a lot of them come to New York in the summertime, not this summer, but the past, right? From Portugal, from Spain, from Japan,
Yeah.
they come over here.
Yeah.
And they're looking to dance and listen to this culture that we do.
Russia.
They look for Russia.
The world. Yeah.
Like, shoot, I hear the stories, but we have to be engaged and see where they at. I went to these sessions in little small rooms and DJ for them and for like 5 people. But you know what? Where you gonna be at next time, Francis? We there. And they talk. So I love the youth and I love the dances because I was a dancer. So you just gotta be engaged with it and connect with, hey, cricket, hey, Conrad, hey, this, and put them all together.
Right.
You know, and that's I think we get mad and say, oh, these people ain't spending no money on this. But you know what? New York's club is always going to be looking for what? Cash, bar, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Jersey, we're blessed that these owners love house music and house music is played every day. So they look forward to hearing house music and say, hey, I want you to do a party. If a guy hit me up and said, hey, Francis, I want you to bring some people here in my spot. He's not thinking about cash. He just want to have somebody in his environment. When New York is all about the money and it's all about the bar. And I get it. And we're not going to find those owners with that culture because it's about a business. You got to pay rent. If you own the place, then it's different. So to me, these places in New York is hard for us now. Jersey is the good main place because Jersey love the music and you get the dances, but we close early. That's the tough thing. So.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think there is a nice little budding dancer community in Jersey. Mm-hmm. Not that there weren't dancers in Jersey. There have always been dancers in Jersey, but I think that the community itself is growing, whereas they're like actually connecting more, right?
Correct. And that's a good thing. Yeah. Like I heard there's some Hoboken everywhere, and we got to be engaged with them because they're the future. Because when they get older, they're going to be like, I'm 41, right? And I can DJ till I'm 60 in this house, and you got people in their 60s still playing. So when I'm in my 60s still playing, they're going to be in their 40s or their 50s, but following me, you know? And they're going to be the older ones complaining about the circle dancing and all of that. So
they're going to be us.
Yeah.
Well, Kamala.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a little party called Melting Pot.
Yes.
You wanna tell us a little bit about that for those who may not know what that means?
I'm sorry, I have to get
That's all right. We know what you and Mom were doing.
I know, right? No, I'm still kind of on what Mark was saying though. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the fact that I have a 17-year-old and I see how they respond to music, what kind of music they're drawn to. I see what they get shown that kind of drowns out quality in a lot of ways. They have to find good music, you know. They have to dig through like a lot of crap just to like really, you know, because they get inundated every day. Like we're in such an attention economy right now. So it's like to fight for attention. We're like fighting for attention with a whole lot of things fighting for attention at the same time, you know. But great things should never have to fight for attention. So we should just continue to do great and be great and not worry about who's paying attention and just wait for them to catch on. And that's what I think has been happening. Like they tried to ignore nightlife and do just bottle service, and they relegated like the more true to culture nightlife to Brooklyn. And now in Manhattan, there's no more nightlife. It's all in Brooklyn. So like,
yeah.
You know,
and that's sad. That's sad how that happened. Where Cielo's is at, it's dead over there.
Well, you know, it's interesting because like I live a few blocks away from meatpacking, and when everything got locked down, there's a coffee spot over there called Colbrick that stayed open when everything was closed. So that was the only place worth going to hang out since shut down. And so it became like my daily spot. So I actually had the opportunity to observe it on the daily basis. And it is like the best part of Manhattan right now, because they turned everything into like an open piazza. They built this big park right on the water that they're going to open next year, like right across the street from the Standard is the West Side Highway, and then they got a park in the water that they built, and then the Whitney and the High Line is connected to Hudson Yards, and everything is just like in some ways looking really fresh, and then everybody was outside all summer. So even though we didn't have parties, we still had this like awesome European summer, where it wasn't too crowded. There weren't any tourists. There weren't too many cars. The stores weren't overwhelming. Workers weren't overwhelming. Like, I feel with all the commerce that fled the city, the art is left, and the people that are like soul connected to it. So, even though they're like, oh, New York is dead now, everything is going to be in the 70s, when everything was super depressed, is when all our best music was birthed,
Absolutely.
and even if the art is continually suppressed now worldwide, like nobody's talking about how art is being suppressed around the world. Like, and you could be a musician or a singer or a party promoter or a dancer or performer, or sell tickets at the spot, or like anybody, all the people, all the ushers and the bartenders and the caterers and all of that, the light people, the audio, all that industry is like almost non-existent right now. You know what I mean? So it's a shocking place to be. I don't think anybody ever expected this, at whatever level they were at and however much money they were making. Like, I'm sure Louis, like I can't imagine Louis Vega, who I think has spent the last 25, 30 years on a plane, has had to sit still and just make music nonstop because there's no flying around, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Well, I feel this thing was like a recharge for people to really work on your craft, your identity, and just regroup
yeah,
and say to yourself, okay, I gotta come different. Because when it opens back up, these promoters are gonna go back to the veterans because it's about the money, but they're gonna probably go back to who's familiar and saying, I'm gonna get this person, that person, that person. It can happen. It's just, I feel like over in Jersey, like for example, Jersey, we have been busy. Every week we got a party going on.
Yeah, we know.
And see, the thing is, and I'm explaining it is, we don't have. I'm an inspector for the city of Newark, and I close businesses or shut businesses down, and who was not social distancing, was not wearing a mask. But we don't have a COVID committee. That New York has a COVID that's checking all the restaurants, all the clubs and businesses, and checking, making sure they're doing in the code, and how many people was in the club, and how many people this. So, and then too, our places are opening, all playing house music. So house music is played everywhere in all the bars. So
yeah,
we don't have like someone on top of us, like, oh, we got to shut you down because it's crowded. People ain't probably social distancing and that, but the community is all the house music community, right? So these owners love the music. So all right, we got food in here, we got this in here. When New York is like, I heard what happened to the House of Yes. When New York is like, if you ain't selling liquor, you gotta have food. If you don't got no food, you can't open. And it's tough,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
But it has to, it just will force like a reinvention, a repurposing, configuration of things. It doesn't really, like even this, look what it, if you weren't so busy promoting parties, when would you have launched this podcast, which is brilliant. So there's always like that silver lining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
talk
a
about the
different thing.
silver lining of this whole thing a lot because, the life is about perspective. And you can look at it as this is the time that like was all, messed up and, that you didn't necessarily you weren't happy with how things were going because it was a change, but in reality so many good things did actually come out of this time that were not like that we were on pause, like Mark said. You know, it's just, it's really
Because I had my times that when it happened, I ain't feel like making music. I ain't feel like hearing music. Then I had my times I was in creative of doing something. Then I said to myself one day, I can't let this just put me on the down. You gotta prepare yourself, protect yourself where you're doing the field. But you know what? You gotta keep it moving. And I just said, you know what? Let me keep it moving, still being creative, make ideas. Because I was so used to playing with people, and you get new music, you want to play in front of people to present it. And after a while, you know, you go on the internet, you see people did it. I did play online and stuff like that, but it is a difference playing to people. But I got used to it now. Like, you know what? I'm thinking about, like, I used to make some CDs in my house. I can have the same energy how I was before. And just I got my groove back, and like, all right, I'm good. I haven't been in that type of funk no more. But it was a time like I ain't feel like hearing no music. I ain't feel like playing no music. I ain't even feel like making no music. Somebody sent me some projects. I ain't feel like I ain't feel like doing it. And that's
Yeah.
what it was, because I was a little
Stages.
funk like, yeah.
This has all happened in stages.
Yeah. But now it's like the travel thing. It's gonna be a while for that for us as us Americans that go overseas, and the Louis and the Timmys and the Moraleses and the it's gonna be hard. And then it's going to probably be major hard for me to go back, because if you're a promoter overseas and you get the word we can come over there, you're going to go for someone with the big fish, because you're going to try to get your money up. So you're going to say, I'm a book.
person that's going to draw somebody over there. That's
Correct. So you would love a Mark
Francis.
You'll love a Mark Francis, but you need somebody like, I need some money fast. And that's what it's going to be. So it's going to take time for us to travel back. But I feel too this is where if you've been consistent at home base and playing at home base is where you stay back in your home base and you get your parties back, and how Louis has his party back at home base, Joe get a party back at home base, Danny got his party back at home base. Just stick to your home and stay here and be consistent. And you know what? The traveling will come back, but you know, I got my home base, you know.
Yeah.
It might fuel the hologram DJ, where like they zoom you in 3D form to like anywhere they want to
see you. You gotta pay me some money for that. You gonna hologram me, DJ?
Yeah. Well, you know, the live stream. We settle for the live stream with the bad connection and the shutdown and all the other stuff. So.
But you know what's deep is, you know, we all mad at Facebook, and we all like, oh, Facebook, you can't do the streaming. But I was on a conversation I had to listen to something last week or so about the streaming with big people that's involved in streaming, and I got educated. Like, oh wow, like I didn't know this. So you know that you got the titles and the Spotify's, right? You listen to that's streaming. So if you DJ on live on Facebook, and if you don't delete that, that's considered streaming. Because you go back and listen to it, like us, listen back into the thing and it's streaming. So they're gonna say Facebook is mad because they're saying, hey, you keeping this mix up if you playing live and it has 31,000 people listening to it after you played it, that person is not getting paid for that.
It's piracy.
So that's
right.
Yeah. So I didn't really pay attention to it. Like, yo, you're right. It's like a jukebox. So I can go back and listen to this mix for how many times I want on Facebook because it's stuck up there. And that person is not getting paid for that stream.
But that's just Facebook not catching up.
Because they don't want to pay nobody.
Just paying a royalty fee the way everybody else does on their platform. Yeah. You know, if we're attracting an audience, why penalize us, you know, for providing a talent or a service or something that people want to see
on your platform that you
on your platform. If anything, they should work out the legalities.
Because if Mixcloud can say, all right, we can pay people on a platform, why you can't do Facebook? You got more money to them. But that's just a part for them. They don't want to give that money to that platform.
And they make $1 trillion. I heard Apple is now doing royalties for DJ mixes on the through the Apple Music.
Okay.
So
That's good.
I heard that there was through an industry source that I was chatting with recently. I don't want to divulge. And he said that a mix that he provided is being, you know, everybody that's in the mix gets a royalty, you know, a registration or whatever, or what they do, I guess, with Spotify. I forget what they call it when they
Because this
quantify
industry,
all the digital plays.
because this industry is getting different because these artists are not traveling, they're not going around the world, they're not doing tours. Their money is streaming. They changing contracts. They want to know, yo, listen, before I didn't care about the streaming, now I care about the streaming because now if I get 10 million streams on a song, I want some money from it. So
Yeah.
it's tough. And then for us, house music, we don't got that.
No, but you know, we're actually bringing a broader audience, a broader artist base revenue, because you know some older artists, random obscure record that you might play or sample from is bringing revenue to these old artists that didn't get any kind of support for their work and their time, you know. So we're actually doing more of a service to artists by playing and reviving music that has fallen out of rotation. You know what I mean? To bring them a revenue check every month, because you know it's remember what happened with that song My Boo. Whoever expected My Boo to go back on the charts 25 years later?
Yeah.
Not even remix, it's in its original form. You know, that was a complete anomaly, I think, in music life. You know, singles lifespan usually don't resurrect like that and go and hit a whole new generation where it was like all the youth were rocking to that song. They made a whole new dance to it. They made a whole new dance to it and everything. You know?
They did.
Yeah. So it's actually a benefit. Like we really expose people to music. We sift, like you know, Mark, I'm sure you know, when we source music on Track Source, how many hundreds of songs don't you go through? Like 100 songs a page. You go to 10, 20 pages. That's about 2,000 records you go through just to find 10, 15 songs you like and want to rock with.
I said this. I was saying this the other day
40.
on Music Wise. It's very hard to make a hit record now because there's so many genres of music. At disco funk, disco. You got Afro house. You got soulful. You got house, deep house. Well, back then in the vinyl era, you didn't have all those categories. So now you can make a song like, yo, this is gonna be the hit. You'd be like, it's soulful. And then you're like, it's not gonna be good because this deep house record is better than this. So it's so hard when you make music. Now to me, I just make music and the general public would pick what they like. If they like it, they like it. Yeah.
That's liberating for music, you know?
It is. I think that like we need more of the like non-categorization of things in general.
Correct.
Right?
Because there's so many categories.
What is that? Who they are. Let music be what it is. Let and let people just enjoy the things that they enjoy.
Yeah.
Because it's so many genres. Like if you go on the Track Source right now, you look at the Afro house, you be like, this Afro? Because back then, Aphrodisiac was Afro.
Right.
But now it's so many different genres, like you say, like, how do you categorize this Afro? What makes this Afro? It sounds like it's Latin. It's Latin. But it's not Latin. They say it's Afro. And then you be like, what's Latin is saying Afrobeat. And I'm like, what's Afrobeat? Afro's not Afrobeat now? So it's just like, it's so much categories. Like I was on Track Source and I'd be listening onto progressive house now. And I'd be like, this progressive house? I could play you something right now. You'd be like, that sounds like it's deep.
Right.
Like,
You wouldn't categorize it that way.
I'll be like, I don't know what they're saying, but you know what? It's music. That's why if you're not a music lover to love music, be able to play everything, you know.
Yeah.
So before we move on, I just want to say two things. If we get cut off on IG, come and visit us. We're on Redness Parties on Twitch and also on Sinrose NYC _ on Twitch. Also, just thank you for joining us. Red, do you have questions from the chat? I have a couple.
I have a question. I have a question for Mark, but I'm going to pose this question to both of you. And this is from Sunday Sermon, which possibly means that it's from a guy named Stormin Norman.
I got a shirt on.
Look
what I got on right now. Look at this.
He already said nice shirt. He said nice shirt. And he wanted to know what non-American, I'm going to tell you exactly how he worded it. For those who don't know, Norman is from London. Mm-hmm. And he said, what non-American DJ who geeks you?
Who geeks me?
That's exactly what he said.
I'm over here. Bear with me. I got a grasshopper in my basement.
Well, you get the grasshopper. You get the grasshopper, and Kamala, you answer the question.
I'm trying to kill my grasshopper.
He's trying to get some club knowledge.
Right, the grasshopper. So in the meantime, Kamala, you can answer us.
I have a lot of people that I'm a fan of musically, but in the realm of house, who comes to mind?
Just to be clear, he said what non-American DJ, just to be clear.
Okay. Bodhisattva.
Okay, we like him.
Bodhi geeks me out. I love Bodhi. And Frank Roger. I love Frank Rogers. And a lot of South African DJs like Black Coffee, and my brain is kind of spazzing. I'm having a hard time thinking of names right now. But I would start with those three. And then there's kind of more contemporary artists. I haven't really done a quick check to refresh my memory. It'll come to me probably now as Mark talks. I'll be like, oh yeah, and that one.
The question is, what DJs outside of America do I like?
Yes, correct.
Okay, DJing. Manu, very good DJ.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
love his energy. I love his energy.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Sean McCabe, I heard him play. Very good. They're real good. So dynamic. I've seen them play before. They're real good. Who else I played with before? We didn't get a chance to hear them. I did hear a lot of different ones over pandemic. You know what I heard for the first time, and you know what I caught his set playing kind of like classics was Carl Craig. Mm-hmm. I actually enjoyed him. I never really listened to him because he's playing the techno stuff, but I listened to him. That's all. Bodhi is good. Bodhi is good because he has his style. Jeff, I love Jeff. Mm-hmm. I say, all right. So I heard him for the first time. What made me like it, I'm gonna give an example, was at a Tribe record. It was the Tribe Cruise party, right? And they had Shimza. And what made me, I heard Shimza before, and I was like, eh. But what made me really had to big him up at this party was he played, and the people was not trying to get into him, right? And what made me love Shimza is yo, you are a DJ. He saw he wasn't getting into it, and he changed up to get them on the floor. All right, let me play some stuff that maybe they would know to get them on the floor, and got them back on the floor and did him. I said, that's a DJ. That he didn't sit there and say, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if you won't dance with it, it is what it is, right? I'm here to get a check. I saw that he was like, okay, I need to figure this out. And I spoke to him after. I said, Joe, man, I got to give you big ups for what you did. He's like, yeah, he wasn't into what I was doing first, the first 40, 30 minutes. And I saw that. So I had to really say, let me play some familiar stuff that they didn't know. And they had maybe some sing-along stuff that maybe I think they would know. He didn't know, but he did it. Right. He played 1940, 1960, an Afro version of it. I was like, okay. They was dancing. He played Fallen. I was like, okay. And I had to say, that's a DJ because he really paid attention to the floor and says, I don't want to lose my crowd. I'm going to bring them back. They don't know who I am, but I'm going to get them. And then when he got them back, he went right back to what he did from the beginning. So I actually loved what he did.
That's the apple, the medicine hidden in the applesauce. You got to lure them in And once they're open and a little nice, and then you kind of
because they were talking like, "Yo, who's this guy? Oh, what are he doing?" And I was like, "All right, come on, I know he got it." And then sometimes these DJs that's from another place, like, I don't care, I'm here to get this money. They're gonna be on my boat. It is what it is. Right. Yeah, but he was like, "Nah, I want to bring them back," and it shows me that that's the DJ right there. I was very impressed with that, and he get my big ups from that, and I always love listening to him since then.
Yeah.
So I have a question from the chat for both of you, from gentleman JR Sandoval Solutions that asks, why is arrogance and cynicism dominant in the scene when actually, they're not filling the parties the way that we should, that like the audiences still aren't there and people are still being arrogant and cynical about their that was his opinion.
Before you guys even answer that, I just want to throw in there that I think that's a funny question, a real question, but also we are so old school that sometimes the people at the party are arrogant too. But go on.
Okay. I'm trying to get, he's trying to say like why the people are not feeling the party scene like that no more?
I think that he's trying to say that the scene itself is filled with a lot of like arrogance, and like
because
but they're not really pulling in the numbers or making the money or doing the actual like marketing that could be done to make this scene really on the scale that other components of the scene are, like maybe in techno or maybe even like if you go to a South African party, that those, like those kinds of things. I think that that's where he's going with it.
I think is because we're spoiled. You got to go back when we was at Shelter and everybody just came because that was Shelter. And back then, we were spoiled in a way now that we're used to the back in the day, and some people have not progressed and grown. Where back in the day, when you had the 80s and the 90s, Kamala could say this house music was produced by record labels. It was big. It was able to play everywhere. You was able to make $20,000 off a record, making a house music record song. And who are you? You producer? You do house? Oh, okay, let's go. So house music was the key in New York, right? So everyone played house. But now that changed, we not having support of house music like that. The clubs in Brooklyn is on the deep techno world. That's where the money's at. So we're just spoiled because we're used to how it was back in the day, and it ain't the same no more. And that's where the arrogance comes from. And I'm not gonna come out because this person don't support, this club owner doesn't support what we do. He just want our money, and it gets like that. It gets like that, where we were used to like being into a place we could be there for 12 hours and nobody tell you to get the hell out. Nobody get mad if you didn't buy a drink.
Right.
Now it's like, buy a drink, put a band on your arm. Been in the club, you have the thing on your arm, you give it to the bartender, they scan, that's your drink. Now you got to buy a drink, and now you go to a club. Red, you probably know back in the day when you do a party, you didn't have to do a bar guarantee.
Nope.
Now it's bar guarantees. How much you gonna bring in here for the bar? At least 2,000. Okay, and that's New York, and it's tough. And I like, for example, being spoiled, and I learned this too. And back in the day, we all did this. When Timmy was not at Shelter, did y'all go?
Sometimes.
It all depended.
Sometimes.
But now
I didn't go to Shelter every week either. And
okay, you didn't go every week.
I went a lot, but I didn't go every week.
I was an every week guy, but if he was not there, I was not going, right? Because he was spoiled.
He was spoiled.
But think of this, and someone educated me with this. The business part of it is they were struggling because we didn't come. They had to pay bills. So Timmy would go overseas and do that gig and come back and take that money, had to pay the rent. Because when he gone for 2 months, he be like, man, I ain't going to no Shelter. I don't want Timmy in here. And so the club go down, but we don't think about like the club going down on business and wonder why our owners and this and that, because we got spoiled because he's not here, so we didn't support it. And I heard stories like it's times that we had to struggle because Timmy wasn't. We had to lie and tell him to leave his car in front of the club, but he wouldn't be here to make it feel like he was upstairs. Like, John was on here. I remember one time I went to the shelter and John was. I didn't know John. He had the dreads. He was the door. He had his put. I said, is Timmy here? He didn't know me. It was just I come as a fan on third night. I said, Timmy here? He looked at me like, I don't know. Well, he's like, he's up. He should be upstairs.
I'm not telling you not here.
Yeah. I get to the booth. I get to the girl. I forgot her name. They worked the booth. I said, is Timmy here? This is like, I got there like around 1:00. Is Timmy here? I don't know. You gotta pay to come in. Can you hold my line up? I paid. Have my book bag. I get upstairs. Coat check. I'm looking around. First thing I noticed when Timmy in here, the system was kind of low. I'm like, system kind of low. I woke upstairs. It's sad. Herb Martin was DJing. Herb Martin, good DJ, but I didn't know, right? I'm stuck on Timmy. I was so upset. Herb Martin was DJing, no Timmy Reddit's. I looked on my schedule to catch my bus back home. I said, what time I catch this bus? I'm going to catch the 5:45 bus. All right, man. Man, Timmy ain't even here, man. But saying that, in this scene, we were spoiled back in the day, and now it has changed, and that's why it's like that.
Well, I'm going to say, I don't know if that's spoiled. We like what we like. We were part of the building of this city. We know what we know. We know what we came for. No shade to any of the other DJs that might have stood in, but this is also, we're also those people. See, some of the newer generation, they're part of the club. They would go to that club no matter who's playing at that club because they're part of the club. We're part of the whole party experience. We're part of the personal. We're part of the DJ. We're part of it. If this DJ goes here, we'll follow the DJ. They will follow the club. And it's a really big difference there. It's a huge difference. Yeah. I don't really know if that's spoiled. That's how it is. That's where we come from. And we didn't need a lot of strangers, and we didn't need the party to be bigger with a whole bunch of people that would spend the money and all of that, because that's how it could be ruined in a minute, in a New York minute, as they say, so I don't know if we're really spoiled. This is just how it is. Kamala, what do you think about that?
Say that again. What was it? What was the
question was, well, Cynthia can tell you the original question better than I can, but basically I'm going to say to you, do you think that we are spoiled in our partying and the way we party and how we choose to party?
Spoiled. No, we're abused. We're like the opposite. We do get like a high, the more brilliant moments you have, your taste for higher experiences always continues, and then you're measuring like something that you do that doesn't feel like it's getting. I've been to parties sometimes where, even when it's someone that I really enjoy, and sometimes I'm just not feeling it, and it may not even be their fault. It could just be my fault, and it could be someone that I worship or don't, haven't ever heard before. It really is a relationship. Sometimes if I'm feeling a certain way and the right DJ touches me, can completely transform my mood. You know what I mean? And I know that responsibility falls on me sometimes, to like let people forget wherever they're at and kind of bring them to a more like even playing field where we can all kind of like, put our personal things aside, which, kind of goes back to the first question, because everybody's got ego and everybody wants to be recognized for their accomplishments. And I have a lot of talented friends that I think are not recognized for their talent. You know what I mean? And, they should, if this scene were justly compensated for the art and culture and talent that comes out of it, we would, we'd still have a lot more money in this scene. There'd be a lot more millionaires and moguls in this scene, because how can it be, you know, the Zion of you know, the entire music in so many ways. This is like the beginning of so many things, and we, you know, that bar is set for us. Like you can't come to New York and expect some bullshit service when you sit down at a restaurant and they're like, you're like, oh, what when you leave New York, that's the first thing you complain about, like, oh, they could never do this in New York, like, you know. And I think that's maybe the spoiled, is that we are conditioned to have a high bar, and we have been exposed to like legendary shit. So how do you, you know, how do you keep meeting that every night? Timmy Regisford is legendary every week, you know. That's like history in the making. You know, all this is
we got spoiled because we got security guards that we know for years, and they go to the new club and, why you don't know my purse? Why are you checking my purse like that? Why? You know, you got the part where we was able to go out and smoke anytime you want. Now is you can't go out one more time, you stay outside. What are you talking about?
But you know what? Is that really the people? That's because of the clubs that we've had to move into, I believe.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the clubs and the staff, you know, and the culture.
Yeah, that's part of the club. Again, the personalization, the real people, the old school people, if you leave it up to them, somebody, and I'm going to use myself as the example. I started a party in the Bronx, and I said, it's not the most beautiful place, but it's just the place we need. It's exactly what we know. It's grimy, it's dark. There's, you know, you could smoke and carry on there. Well, and that's exactly what we want. Sometimes less is more for us. Yeah. We don't need all the bright lights. We don't need the fancy security at the door. We don't need bottle service. Right. We don't need it. We don't even want
I'm gonna say that because I remember this part. I remember 2017, and I was very upset about this because it was a venue in Coney Island, right? Remember the art part in Coney Island?
Art walls.
What bothered me in this, and it's like this is our scene. What bothered me was it was free to come in, right? All they wanted you to do is buy drinks and eat the food, right? Bring your chair, right? And then they paid us, as a DJ had a budget, paid us good money. These people were throwing their nutcrackers over the gate. Oh my God. So throwing it over the gate by the bathrooms term, because on the Coney Island they had a little bathroom things. Then when they get to the gate, the security still checked your bags. They were getting us set of security checking your bags because they had to take your drinks back to the car because you couldn't bring no drinks in. Just come in this free party, buy the food and the drinks. And what happened? There's no more. Because why? Everybody was throwing their drinks over the gate.
But you know what, Mark? Don't confuse being spoiled with being grimy.
Yeah.
There's a whole different, because there's a whole bunch of people like us. Don't get it twisted. I'll sneak my drink into the club. I will. I don't mind anybody knowing it. But what you're talking about is a whole nother. That's a whole nother level.
That's called grimy.
Yeah, let's not.
All right. So what about
etiquette? Like us who would.
All right. So what about the spoiled one?
Like really, guys, really.
So is this spoiled? How about this spoiled? How many times when Timmy got a new club, I heard this when Timmy always tell me this when people say, "Oh, I got a new spot." Yo, do you have a smoking section for us, Timmy?
Yeah.
Not cigarettes.
Yeah.
The first thing they ask Timmy.
Yeah.
Is it a smoking section for us?
Yeah, it's a real question to do that. That's a real and valid question because Timmy knows.
Well, okay. So, but you know what do you miss about Santos? That little smoke room in the back?
Oh my God! Or in the stairway, on the bottom floor, that little hallway that was like
y'all don't say how the system, how the place, yo, is a place for us to smoke?
Because we want to stay a while. We want to stay a while.
And we know what we want as components of the
party.
We already know, like, okay, so if Timmy's doing a party, we already know that the sound is going to be to a certain level because he has a certain standard, right? So that's not even really a question.
But the smoking, I remember when he told y'all could smoke in the area code, y'all were up there. The rafters.
That's right.
Blazing. And I'm like, I'm over here doing lights like, yo, they are getting it in over here.
It's a party.
And then Timmy like,
and everybody else is drinking.
Yes.
But see,
Timmy
that's
said
one
it's
of
okay.
the beautiful things about our crowd is that we actually know our DJs and they know us. Whether it's personal, whether they speak to you, whether whatever, they know us. They know the crowd that they have, and they want kudos to Timmy for at least trying to keep us happy when a lot of people are just like, I'm going to move on and move on and move on and not worry about the people that came up with me and that brought me up.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, you know?
Another thing about our crowd to pay attention, we don't need security. We are our own security.
Security.
Absolutely.
We never need security. We only need one person at the door.
To security, we stop it.
It's a person at the door to watch out for the stragglers that might come through.
But inside that club, we are our own security.
Safe.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
to put up a front, check ID. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, but
we don't need nobody
house music
or the venue.
Yeah, house is different though. I think it depends on the genre. Some places I might be glad they got security, but house music I think always attracted. It was always a more low key, more loving. I haven't seen many fights at a house party. Very, very few.
That's why it's hard with the club owners, because I feel like there are club owners that appreciate that component, right?
They love us.
The component of like, yo, these are grown folks. They're gonna respect my space. They're not gonna tear shit up. They're gonna protect the people that are in here and make sure that it's a safe place for everybody and not allow anything to happen to anyone.
85% of people that are there know each other.
Right. But the balance there is am I going to make the money that I would make?
That's it. Yeah.
Crowd, right. So that's the balance. So sometimes, and I think that in our best case scenarios, the club owners and business owners that like respect that component of like, yo, I really don't want all this wild rah-rah shit. I don't care about these kids. They're tearing up my shit. Let me have these grown folks come in here. You know, those people are the ones that rock with us.
Right.
But it's
bottle throwing.
If we could figure out how we want to re-envision nightlife right now, given that the idea of being in a crowded space, and all the politics right now, it's kind of like, all right, where does it go from here?
Right.
And in some ways, you know, I think what's the most worth preserving is the culture and the music aspect of it. It's almost like if we could figure out a way to monetize it where it's by sponsors or not, you know, the old model of like, drink as much as you can, just keep drinking. I know you have an alcohol problem, but have another drink. Here's a ticket, you know, like, you know, we should, we keep getting married. It's always kind of almost like what shoots us in the foot. And at the same time, maybe this is an opportunity for the art side, the culture side of it to flourish, because the ever oppressive heel of commerce is not on our neck. Maybe it's what's stopping everything right now. But you know, that you know, maybe it goes back to outlaw parties. Maybe we're figuring out whole new paradigms to share and connect and reinforce community and expression. And that's what it's all about, really. At the end of the day, it's not that commerce and the bottle service and the rent.
Well,
you know,
the bottle service is gone.
Now.
Yeah, the bottle service has disappeared
that's gone.
now. Yeah, I remember that era was so. I seen that era was so bad where people would be online and waiting, and they didn't even care how much you pay to come in. They just want people with the bottle service.
Right, because bottle service replaced door shade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, bottle service is what killed door shade. Before bottle service, the thing that would keep people at the door was shade. You're not dressed right. This is a private party.
Don't care how much money you have.
Right? Yeah. That was the shit that would keep people outside. Then the clubs did a shift. Bottle service started, and it wasn't you're cool. It's can you buy a bottle? I'll get you in.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
I remember in 1999, I was working at Chelsea Piers, bartending, working for the Crab House. over there by on Chelsea Piers in New York. And I remember doing the 1999 New Year's Eve party. And I remember this promoter came to us. He says, someone says, I want to buy a bottle. I looked at him like, told my sister, because she was the general manager, I was like, you want to buy a bottle? I don't know what to tell him. Like, that is so funny, because that was like 1999, like, a bottle? What are we going to charge him? I don't know. Because, back then it was just Moet and Dom Perignon. A person wanted to buy a bottle of Hennessy. We was like, can you look at the invoice and see what the invoice say from the
That was the beginning of it too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what to tell them. $300-$400? Like, I don't know. And I remember that time, and then got to the part working at Greenhouse and seeing like, wow, you just let people in for bottles first, then let the other people come in just to fill in the party.
Yeah, it's all fun and games till Chris Brown shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Greenhouse was a bottle service club, big time.
But like, to me, I understand why they had to do that, because you had to adjust to what was going around that area. Everything in that area was bottle service.
And it funded the after hours in some ways that allowed the culture. Yeah.
So to me, it was at that point, it's just in that house music scene, we had to adjust to so much different stuff. And just the meatpacking district was all about bottle service area. I remember that. So it's just, we adjust to what's going on in the world. But what's so funny? We're still here in house music. But the spots in Brooklyn, we're gonna adjust to it, but we still gonna be here. So now they're gonna come calling us back and need us, because we ain't going nowhere. They're playing our music now. They're playing vinyl. Vinyl has picked back up. Vinyl has beat CD sales. You got record stops and people buying vinyl crazy now. Everybody wants to go vinyl. So we're coming back slowly. And in our music, a lot of our old stuff is getting played. They're playing old things from back in the day now at the party. So we're there. It just has to get better financially for us, better for us. So
we should start a house crypto.
A house crypto?
You heard it here first. A digital currency. A house nation.
House heads. Right. So I would love to take this time to just give you guys an opportunity to just tell everybody what you may have coming up, or if there's something that you want to highlight. I know Kamala and I will be together tomorrow.
Yeah, we're playing at a venue that we're not allowed to disclose because of, I guess, regulations.
We don't want it to be crazy. That's the
we don't, but it's kind of also, the venue has, like, I guess they're at risk of, they're not allowed to promote. They have certain regulations that prohibit them from promoting. So you're allowed to have a DJ, but you can't say the DJ is going to be there. You can. It's kind of weird.
That's New York for you, not in Jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
Have some food, have some drinks, sit socially distanced, but enjoy music and the environment of actually just being out with friends.
I think what I liked about the space is that they did when I saw it in the summer, they had the booth outside, and it's in Bushwick. So I always love any opportunity where you're playing outdoors and the music is like hitting the sky and people up the block can hear and that kind of thing. That's always a special treat. So I hope it's still the same setup as when I saw it in the summer, but it was loud. It was like we get to really rock. It's not like a little rinky dinky little setup in the corner on the little like stool. Like when you show up to a gig and sometimes they're like, where's the booth? And it's like a little ledge somewhere and they're like, oh, can you play there? You're like, no. That's one time that I ever had to walk out of a job because I think I showed up and they completely had an inadequate situation that I was like, well, I guess I'm not playing tonight. And I had to just walk out, because it was a good spot too. They just had no forethought and no like consideration that, hey, we might want music played, and there might be, you know, a live person playing it. So I've had some funny booths over the years. We had.
What would you say was the funniest one?
Well, I had one which was at Pravda when the Pravda was open. It was a restaurant on what do you call it? Lafayette and I forget, Prince. And they had a booth there for years. A lot of DJs played there. My brother MKL was a resident there. There was a lot of, you know, they liked good music. It's one of Keith McNally's restaurants. He owned a lot of clubs and restaurants in the nightlife community. And you always met people that worked in nightlife that went through those spots. So that's kind of a thing that I like about the community today, is the fact that I can turn on to a spot and it turns out someone that I know or that I used to work with or that used to work at this spot or is friends with my friend that worked at that spot, or, you know, there's this kind of unofficial alumni fraternity, sorority, you know, dynamic that exists in our culture. But yeah, it was under the stairs. It was like I felt like Harry Potter, like in his little room underneath the stairs. It was that was the booth.
Wow, that looked like it was tight.
It was tight, and it was a little, yeah. That was a funny one.
Were you able to stand up straight?
I was able to stand up, but I had to lean out to come under the doorway, like I could hit my head if I didn't bend down, you know.
I feel sorry for the fellas.
Right, that wouldn't have worked out for Rich Medina.
Yeah, but I don't know how the Tulsa guys did it, but you know, it's funny. Those are like the rites of passage, and like Mark said earlier, getting kicked out of the booth by Timmy. I think a lot of my friends have given me their Timmy ejected me from the booth story. So that's like a rite of passage.
Rite of passage, correct.
You know? You could get a t-shirt like I got kicked out the booth.
He didn't even know who I was. He kicked me right out.
What about you, Mark? You have any horror DJ booth, sound booth stories that you could think of?
Let's see. What I played in, or what happened as a fan?
Either
whichever one you want to share.
Our friend said a tiny home.
I haven't played in a bad booth before. But like I said, the Timmy thing happened where he wasn't there the week before and Sting was playing and the booth looked like it was like packed. It was packed off the hook. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna walk up in here. And I walked up in here and I just fit in with everybody because you didn't even know I was in the booth. Because it was packed. It was like a party in the booth with a party on the floor. Food, people chilling, drinking, dancing in the booth. I was like, okay. Next week, Timmy played back. He came back. I was like, all right. Nobody was in the booth. So I was like, I'm going to this booth. I'm going to go in the booth. Walked in the booth. I started looking at Timmy. He DJing. He looked over at me. And I was just staring at them. And, you know, Timmy had them nights where he sometimes like, what the hell are you doing? And he was playing with that little loop machine he had. He had a loop machine. He used to loop everything he could think about looping back then. So he was looping something. It wasn't going. I was just standing there like this looking at him. And he looked back at me again. I wasn't giving his groove. I wasn't like vibing with him. He walked over and said, can you step out, please? And I said, okay. He walked me to the door and locked it.
So you're like,
I said, I ain't never going back to that booth. Huh? I was like, I ain't never going back to that booth again. But I got why, because when you, as a DJ, I wasn't giving him in the groove. So it's like, if you come in the booth, Red, and I'm rocking, I feel like I'm in the zone, and you just stand there looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And your energy wasn't given to me. So I think I said, I got to respect that I wasn't giving him the energy. And it didn't turn me away. And it made me feel some type of way. And then, hey, I still work for him now. So because when you get to know him, you know him. He's not that. He's a different person. So, but that was my story of a booth. I never had a bad booth before. I did have one time where I first was DJing. I was playing off Tractor, and everything was in reverse. Like the tractor program flipped it, everything in reverse. And I actually figured out how to play, but it was like I had to bring things in the backward way. I don't know, it was weird. So I made
That's
it
funny,
happen.
the tractor, because I feel like a lot of house DJs tend to still use tractor, and I still can't really. I have Serato. I could use Serato. I know a lot of my friends that play less house and more classics and everything else but house, for some house. But for the more house DJs, I feel like we've kind of held on to tractor. You know, I still kind of favor tractor. I guess, you get comfortable with what you're used to. But it's funny
you know
when
what? I just thought about it. Here we go. My first time in the DJ booth DJing was a horrible time for me because I just remember I was playing off tractor. First time playing the tractor in the house so much, you didn't know that when you look at tractor, the BPM. I got to the club and Beloved gave me my first opportunity at a party. And I DJ'd at this party and not knowing that the BPM was not going to come on the CDJ because you had to use a tractor CD, right? But I didn't know that because I never played in the club before with it. I got so nervous. I lost my glasses and dropped on the floor somewhere. I'm like literally like the CDJ, like, why the BPM is not coming on here?
Yeah.
And then someone says, you have to look in your tractor. I'm like, huh? I couldn't mix. That was the first time playing out. I sound like a sneaker in the box, but that was like a horrible. And then the thing was so horrible about it more. The party was packed because, hey, everybody loved Mark France. I knew a lot of people, but people were like literally at the booth like this, looking at me, like what I'm gonna do. And it just was like, yo, everybody. I'm like, I really was so much so that I remember that booth spirit. And then when I first DJ, I ain't want nobody in the booth with me. I didn't want nobody to talk to me. I didn't want nobody behind me when I first started DJing because I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable like that.
These things take time, I would imagine.
Huh?
These things take time, I would imagine.
It takes
First, you
time.
gotta get comfortable with your space, and then you can be like, okay, now I can entertain guests.
It's like driving sometimes.
Yeah. It was times that I some people don't like listening to music when they driving back then. So I had to get used to all that stuff when I was DJing, man. It was a lot in that booth. Like, I don't want nobody to talk to me. Don't talk to me. Like, hey, yo, that's a hot mix. Oh, man, you're gonna mess me up now. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Like, it was real tough.
And now your music is going backwards.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you both. From a guy named Patrick Wilson that you may or may not.
Patrick, Chicago.
Patrick would like to know what are some of the best parties that you have both played for you both here and abroad. Kamala, you go first this time.
I have played more locally than abroad, and I've gotten to play with a lot of awesome parties and DJs. Jelly Bean, Tony Touch. We did the Coney Art Walls twice. That season that they opened up, and it was me, Jelly Bean, Tony Touch. DJ Spinner was the second time, and the first, I think we had Danny Crivet the first time. It was Danny Crivet. He was a surprise, and Ray Vasquez. And over the years, we've done awesome stuff with Tony Touch and Sony, and I got to play with Red Alert and Pete Rock and Natasha Diggs and Stretch Armstrong and Babito and all the people that I love and respect. I've had the opportunity to play with a lot of the times and be part of the same bill, and so yeah, I don't know if it's so much the party or the event. I loved playing at the People's Party in Oakland. That was really awesome with DJ Khaled.
Is that the guy in the backyard? Is that the guy in the backyard?
DJ Khaled.
In Oakland, I played. Okay.
Yeah, it was called the I forget the name of the club, but it's like it's like it's a long-term party that they've had a lot of. They had Joe Clausel guest DJ. They've had I think they've had a lot of big, you know, Osunlade they brought out. They've had a lot of awesome DJs on their roster. So I was really honored for that. So yeah, for me, it's always the opportunity to be an ambassador, to get invited to play anywhere, to who I'm on the bill with. The Miami parties that we did for Winter Music Conference were so epic with Little Ray. He put me on with some great people, including Mark and Timmy Regisford, and just to even be on that. Oh, there was a time we used to do the Coney Island parties, and we had the Martinez brothers and Louis Vega and Spinner. We had that's going back to your question with Melting Pot. We used to throw the Melting Pot parties, and that afforded me an opportunity to play with. I actually got a lot of my party chops from playing with Curvin and the Melting Pot parties, because, you know, back then it was very much like, oh, what's this girl gonna do, you know? And can she really play, you know? So I had to really bring it, you know. It was really, you know, you couldn't jump on and play these parties and not like bring it, you know. So it taught me a lot about reading the room and listening to the sound quality and the EQing and the flow, and, you know, just your whole program, you know. It really developed me. And it's almost like my ace in the pocket sometimes, like that deep house research that I do, because I can play all this other kind of music, whether it's classics or they want me to play, you know, sometimes I play places they don't want me to play house. They're like, just stay away from house. Because in their mind, that means something that may or may not be what I would play, but, you know, they have this idea. So I try to sneak it in with them not knowing that it's house, you know.
I love like the medicine in the applesauce.
Right.
Yeah, that's my technique, boy. I do that with everything. But you know, yeah, I lost. It's been such an amalgamation of awesome experiences over the years, and different things were special for different reasons. So yeah, I just like to save every memory of everything that I do and every person that I play with, and every venue that I get to grace, and every outdoor spot that I get to play. It's like another, like, you know, oh yeah, I did that, you know, and now I can add that to the plaque of I played
to
here.
the notches in your belt.
Yeah. Oh no, don't say it that way.
Why? It's all right.
The
boys would say it that way.
Sounds like when you talk about all the people you slept with. You know,
that's good.
in a more exalted fashion, I would say. But yeah, I know
So
Mark has had some
party local or in
it's
overseas,
just
you said,
whatever it is, either way.
I did so much locally.
You said here or abroad?
Shelter Anniversary. I don't know. All right. Well, I think has been in Greece at a club called Mikro in 2016. I think just my second time or third time coming to Greece, the energy was just off the hook from the door. And I was a little upset because the history about it was I missed my flight, and it was my mistake missing my flight, and I had to make it happen because I was doing a tour in Greece, and I was so upset that I missed this flight. So I had to go from book a whole new flight to run over to New York to catch a flight to get to Greece at 12 o'clock 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And, you know, sometimes you get to the hotel and they're like, you know, we come pick you up around 1 or 2. I was like, I don't want to go to no hotel. I'll go right to the club. And I got to the club and I just like, I wanted ready to play. And I played 7 hours straight. And I was like, that was a real good party because people really got to hear me and I was able to express and enjoy myself. So that was a real good party. I liked in Greece. And local, I did so many. I gotta say the Tyrone Francis era because I was a baby and I had fun at the Tyrone Francis parties because they were like that was like our shelter parties back up in Brooklyn. That was before Brooklyn took over, right? We was up in Brooklyn at Tyrone Francis parties.
This is true.
And that's the up there was like the Saturday nights. I think the best party for me when I DJ Tyrone was one night. I think he did a free party. It was a holiday weekend, and everybody came out, and that was like a calling where I just like, all right, people get to hear me play. They heard me play, but this time it was like the crowd was there because I used to open for Tyrone. So you had some people come in, you know, because it was early. But this one was free. The doors was people were outside waiting. And I think that was a real good party for me. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
The BKNY, the Francis boys.
BKNY.
There you go.
Not to mention rocking Shelter a handful of times, right?
Yeah,
He's been rocking. That's like the holy grail, you know, Shelter.
Yeah. Shelter's the holy grail. But you know, sometimes I say I was at some other places where I did Shelter. So Shelter is the holy grail, but I guess so. I had to be good at these other places for people to come to me and listen to me at Shelter. Because if you wasn't good, they want to look like who, you know. Because Timmy had me in the scrap. I had to scrap to get my cheese and stuff. Because I was in the Shelter right away. Like he was like, he did a little testing, like had me play. I was playing a Tyrone thing, and some people were like, "Yo, why don't got you at the Shelter yet?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." But he told me I needed you to go out and play somewhere and get the reviews from other people, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And he got reviews back like, "Okay, I heard you did good. You got to work on this. You got to work on that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what you did." And then I think he went away at that time, and he put me and Adam on. And he gave us nights, and he took over.
Yeah. We had a one, I think Red helped promote that. It was a brief party that Jelly Bean put together downstairs while Timmy was upstairs. I think maybe Red remembers better. Remember when we did In God Created Woman and it was
where were we?
DJs?
That would help.
I remember it was the Shelter.
Was it Greenhouse?
Maybe 39th Street. 39th Street.
Remember,
We was downstairs.
I remember there was
Street.
a downstairs and Timmy was playing upstairs and we were playing.
Wasn't playing next door.
Ah man, I don't remember.
Because it could have been Greenhouse.
Yeah, it could have been Greenhouse in other rooms.
There was a whole series that I put together at Greenhouse where I brought in the other parties. Like, look, there's a whole nother room next door. Can we do this? And we did. We had, I think, Jelly Bean. We had, I believe, you guys, Soulgasm.
We had Nikki Affleck. I was bringing. We had a lot of different people.
Are You Afro? Yeah, we had all of those. Yeah.
And that was a good thing because it was mixing both parties.
That was an awesome thing.
And it wasn't competing because it was like, this what he do, this is what we did.
And you hear both. It was great.
You can hear both, right? It was good that was a real good. I think that was a real good thing because you had that room was still popping. Yeah, and it wasn't like you could do what you want to do, and he didn't, you know, for him it was like, okay, as long as they over there doing them, they can come, you know, over there. So
good time.
Those are the days. Those are the days.
It seems so long ago.
I would say, I was gonna say, I feel like now you got before certain DJs weren't getting booked to play in certain clubs, and ever since everybody went virtual, now DJs that never were getting booked but are awesome, like they've been playing for 20 years, they just never get those. They just don't get hired because they're not either like the marketing or the management or whatever reason that like venues hire locally. They'd rather book someone, you know, from another town before they pay attention to local. So there's just been a lot of ignored DJs that weren't really getting any play, and now you get to see such a broader spectrum of DJs that even friends of mine that like never made it out to the parties are like, oh, I finally get to hear you, you know, because if I do a live stream.
Right.
So it really opened it up a little bit where it's not the manager of this venue that gets to favor his friends versus, you know, this DJ versus, it's a popularity contest and all that. Now it's like you have access, you have your records, you can play, and you can find your audience. So it kind of, I think it's kind of a good thing for it's a win for the DJ in a way. We took a loss, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a win, you know?
I agree.
Good with the bad, I guess.
Yeah.
And when things come back, there'll be that many more people that get opportunities to play locally or traveling or at
A lot of DJs
types of venues.
I think
a
that
lot of DJs
like people
on internet
that that are going to, like, you know, that, like you said, don't go out to clubs, or don't, you know, that it revitalized like their love for music, this whole part of being able to like get into DJs. And I think that there certainly may be people that didn't go out before that'll like start to come out whenever
well like I remember through this pandemic, right? So through the pandemic, Timmy's been listening to everybody playing online, right? And he's been checking everybody out, checking all these shows. And one thing he did tell me he noticed, and I was like, "You did?" He said that he noticed that a lot of these DJs that traveled around the world with him got back into playing house music. Like, just say like we talk about Carl Cox, right? And Carl Cox was deep techno, where you could catch him playing some disco, some soulful stuff. And he said these people got home and they did this for I guess so for an act, but then now when they're back into their roots, like a lot of people locally in Jersey love Bob Sinclair now because he was doing his stuff every day.
I love him.
And I never really got to hear it. I'm like, yo, he has mad energy. He had his soulful days, he had his Afro days, he had his throwback days. But we just knew Bob Sinclair, like, oh, he playing something we don't know about. But he got back into like music. And I noticed a lot of these people got back into music at the time when this pandemic happened.
Yeah, you know, part of the puzzle will be though, if there can be parties again, as I want to do it now, even for my virtual party, is I've listened to more new DJs now than in probably ever.
Right.
And so I want to bring them, like, now is the time to say, could you play my virtual party? Now I've asked a couple and that's going to happen. Play my virtual party so people can start getting the introduction, because this goes back to what we said about us being spoiled. And I'm going to use the word fickle in a good way. If you put that name on an actual flyer and say this person's going to play live and will you pay $10 or $15 or whatever it is to hear them, people still won't do it. They still won't do it. Not unless they discover this person before that time comes. Because we still are who we are.
Yeah, we are. It's gonna be tough. That's why you just
I guess it's good to generate a buzz, you know, and that's where the promoters really, you know, I always felt like a lot of the especially in the early 2010s or whatever, it's funny, you know, we had a lot of party brands and not a lot of promoters. Like you guys are few in terms of this, when you think about how many promoters versus how many DJs, you know what I mean, there are, or managers, or anybody that wants to capitalize on the whole phenomenon that is a dance party and the elements that bring it forward. There's kind of been this short abundance of DJs, and then a lot of times we would be asked from the venue to be the promoter, to be the marketer, to be, you know, the event organizer. It was so many different responsibilities that end up falling on the DJ, when a lot of times, you know, the DJ just wants to DJ. And I've always kind of felt like there was a lack of entrepreneurship with those other aspects of the business that are, you know, I figure every gig that I've ever gotten, someone could have garnished a percentage of that, you know, and if you have enough DJs working, that's a percentage that you can count on every month. And like, you would think there would be a lot more people that want to utilize their networking capacity and marketing know-how and all that stuff, so that it doesn't always fall on the artist to wear all those hats and then at the same time try to be the artist and be in that zone, you know. So I think that's
Well,
kind of where they
we
has to
gotta.
grow in a way. Sorry.
I think too, as an artist, we gotta market ourselves. Like I tell some of these guys that go on to Facebook, you gotta push yourself. You gotta think and just not playing on Facebook. What are you doing for your audience? And there's some DJs looking away where they connect with other labels and premiere their music and advertise it like that. Some of them are looking at a way how to do something different. Because, like I said, this is a stepping stone where you have to reconnect. Like, what I'm going to do to keep these people knowing who Mark Francis is. All right, I can produce music. I'm lucky I was playing a lot of gigs and different out. But if I didn't have no gigs, I would have to be online a lot
Right.
and set it up to keep yourself busy and relevant, because sometimes they're not going to think about your name. They're going to say, oh, you know what? I'm about to throw a party. I'm going to book Cynthia and Red because they've been busy on the internet and they got a following. They're not going to say, I'm going to book this person. I don't know what the hell you're doing. I know they thinking, these people are thinking because they want to make money. So I look at different things. I try to like be spontaneous and go up there. I'll have a show or jump online and play and just, hey, I'm here. And then we'll go in there be different, Try
Don't
to
you
play some stuff.
forget about
I
me.
tried to. I think that night I played for Red, I went down tempo for an hour, right, Red? I was down tempo for like an hour and a half,
We
playing
had
some
problems.
jazz and different
We had
stuff.
problems. We need a whole
They were,
do-over.
I have to say though, with
and
regards to what you were saying, Mark, like one of the things that I've said as a person who has been in the behind the scenes part of like, producing parties and events, I've always had this conversation with DJs like, yo, you need to at least post the flyer, right? You need to at least promote the
yeah.
event, even if somebody else is booking you. And the reason why is because, like, if the flyer comes up and they say, Mark Francis is playing for Sin Rose, right? They're not going to go and say, necessarily like for me they may, but like if let's say Joe Schmo hired Mark Francis to do a party and you don't promote it, the people that are your fans that come to the party be like, yo, I went to this party with Mark and it was whack. They're not gonna say Joe Schmo's party was whack because they don't even fucking know Joe.
Because it's tough. I would say this too, it's tough because you book me, I'm gonna support it, right? And I'm gonna push the flyer. But what happens when you book those big vets? They don't do that, and y'all get on. Like I had somebody one time. Somebody one time. Sometimes
you gotta post a flyer.
Okay, well you do. Yeah.
At least
I remember one time a promoter was like,
at least once. Not even
yeah,
like.
I agree.
I had a DJ tell me when I said, "Could you post a flyer?" Oh well, so I should be doing your job. No, that's not what I asked you at all. I've posted the flyer 100 times. I've put it in 100 places. I've done the whole. I just asked you, could you just share it one time? So maybe your sister's baby, daddy, father, whatever will see it and come down to the disco. I don't know them.
Right.
And it helps you, help me, help you. It helps us all, and it's a good thing.
Right.
True.
That should be a given though. Like if you're not going to promote, at the very least post a flyer of something. That's the very least that I think is a given.
But you'd be surprised how many people don't want.
But it's not. It's not.
Well, I'm always big on posting the flyers because I'm happy that I'm getting a gig. So I'm always going to be happy to post the flyer because you know what? And then I'm going to make sure when I do the gig, I want to come back to the gig.
Right.
And then you have to, it's proper etiquette of, I think, posting a flyer, you're pushing it. Sometimes some people will say, I'm going to make you administrator of the page. Okay, I get over there and I add more people and I post it. But I am busy. But I know that, yes, if I do it, I can probably get them 10. I come from that promoting era back in the day when we used to put the flyers on the cars. It's like, as long as we get 3 people to come here, 3 from all these 4 locations. Or I'm from that era where I was used to promote parties too for people where you give me a flyer and say, Mark, put your initials. And whatever your initials on this flyer come to this door, we gonna get paid for
$2 and $3 a head.
See, people don't know about that, Mark. I used to do all that stuff. So it's like I knew like the different schemes of what you used to do, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. So I got my initials at the door. You get that flyer, like, yo, Mark, you got like 20 people up in here. I appreciate that. And that matters, because you see, if I get 10 people here, 3 over here, 2 over here, 1 over there, you got a party. But I worked on too is I used to, when I was DJing in Jersey, I used to count like, oh, okay, she gonna come to my party. I used to say in my head, if I throw my own party, oh, she gonna come, but you can't depend on people.
No, you
So I
cannot.
started, and when you start depending on people, I had parties coming. I'm like, oh man, she didn't even come. Why she ain't come? She told me she liked how I DJ, and she's like, and then she'd be like, you see her like, hey, what's up? Oh, I got busy. So then I said to myself, like, yo, I'm sitting here depending on these people to come to my party. They support me, they love me, but they can't make the party all the time. So I said, I gotta play for new people. So I gotta focus on these new people. And if y'all come, y'all just match up with these other people. And then when they come, I'm like, who the hell is these people? Right? I used to be like that, like looking for everybody to come to the party and sitting here like, man, she ain't come, he ain't come. And I'm sitting on my phone, sending a flyer out like, yo, I'm playing tonight, remember? So it's both ways of it. But you're right.
Yeah,
You're right about it. But do you
it's true.
feel like as a promoter, when you have a crowd,
Wait a minute.
Right? He got stuck on the good part.
I know. I was like, as a promoter, do you?
we broke up. Did you hear what I said?
All right, no,
No.
repeat that.
Hello?
We hear you now.
We hear you.
My signal. Yeah, my signal. I'm changing location. I said, did you hear what I said? Was as a promoter, if you have a set, if you promote and then you notice that your party for the past 3 months been 400 plus and 200 plus, do you stop promoting or you keep promoting?
No, you keep promoting. You have to do it. No, you keep promoting just like it was the first
Okay.
night.
Yeah.
You never stop.
Okay.
You always promote.
Never stop. I agree.
You never.
have to
You
care
always
about
promote, yeah.
you have to show that you care about your own event as much as you would like somebody else to care about it. So you never stop. That's your baby.
Yeah, you never stop.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah, I
stop.
agree. Yeah, you never stop. Yeah,
Sometimes being in
you're
the
right about
promoting
that.
business is like, I think, being in the mafia. Like it's this it's this kind of
It is.
this industry
It is.
that like you have a love-hate relationship sometimes. Like I think I think in the beginning when our party got shut down, when things got shut down, I remember having a moment of like, kind of nice not have to promote anything right now. It's kind of like a,
yeah.
because sometimes that's a all always there kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a
Never
second
had that.
second job. Yeah.
I never
I,
had
I,
that. When
You
it
didn't
stopped,
get that.
like no, because as soon as things closed down, I was like, yo,
Digital.
Tony, what are we gonna do? Rich, what are we gonna do? What, and it just never stopped. So then it was like, okay, we're gonna do
But
let's start promoting that.
And it pushed you into
I tell
like
you
a
this
digital format, which is dope.
Yeah.
I tell you this, as a DJ, you need a good team when you're doing parties. A promoter, a person that's gonna handle it. Because if you do everything yourself, it's very hard to DJ because you don't get the focus.
Yeah.
So I learned that mentality from Shelter, where he would say, I'm just here to do the music,
Right.
and I'm gonna focus on the music. You focus on Red, you focus on the people. John, you focus at this door. I'm not interfering in none of that other stuff. Let me focus on the music.
Right.
Yeah.
And I learned that because when you try to like, oh, all right, I gotta work at the door. Ain't nobody at the door yet. Let me work the door. Yo, just play the little music till I get to the door. Let me put a CD on. It's so much going on. And then when you get on the deck, you worrying about like, oh man, I forgot. It's like I've been through that. When you're in charge of something, you're trying to run something and get everything rolling, and then you got to jump on a DJ. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's nice that I seen John it'd be craziness at the door. He won't even go to the booth and tell Timmy at all until the last night when everybody at the door. Word? That happened?
Yeah.
Why you didn't tell me? Nah, man, you was DJing, bro. I was not gonna get involved.
Yep.
You let her in? That's what happened. They were fighting. So you need a strong team. when you're doing a party. You do it. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And
Yeah, it's a
every
lot.
position is not built for everybody.
Absolutely
No, it's
not.
not.
Everybody
It is
can't do
not.
everything. And I think that because like we're professionals, right? Like if you look at
Hmm.
Red and you say, yo, you look at what she does and you be like, yo, that shit is easy.
No,
No,
it's not.
honey.
No,
She
it's
just
not.
makes it
Yeah,
look
it's
easy.
all fun and games.
Actually, a promoter is like the head person telling this place, "I'm gonna have your place packed," and he has to believe you, and you got to push it and
Mm.
do your best to show him, "Give me another night here,"
Yeah, that too.
right?
And the promoters,
And then you gotta
in touch with everybody, juggling with everybody. The DJ,
correct,
making sure the
and
DJ's
then
got what
you
they need,
and
making sure somebody at the door is not upset, making sure the person taking the money is good,
mm,
all of the above,
Yeah.
yeah,
making sure
and
people
and
aren't
then the
getting,
promoter
you know,
got to gamble and say, "Okay, can we get this DJ? Is he gonna bring people here?"
and
Ah,
sometimes the security too, that you
yeah,
have to tell security, these are not those, like for us, these are not those people. You don't
yeah,
have to like strip search them at the
yeah.
door. You
Right.
can, so all of
Mhm.
the above.
Absolutely. I've had many conversations with security where I'm like, yo, okay, so hi, today's your first night. I'm gonna run this. Okay.
Hello,
Don't
hello.
Yeah.
worry, everybody's gonna be real. It's gonna be a real easy night for you. Trust me. You're gonna love
Yeah,
it.
like
Right? Can I
you
get
gonna
Yeah.
love it.
you something?
Yeah.
Right.
Man, security. They be like, I come to in New York, I'm DJing. They're gonna check your bag. Okay. I mean, one time I didn't even tell my DJ. You're like, why you let me know you DJ? I'm like, yo, bro, I'm just so used to it, man. Just check the bag, man. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm just over it. But it's like reverse, right? New York, when you go to New York clubs, the owners, they cater to you, have drinks for you and water. Jersey, man, ain't got nothing for us. It'd be like, yo, I'm dying of thirst over here. I had to pick. I don't even. I gotta get on the microphone. Yo, y'all nobody care about me.
Meanwhile, everybody's
Right,
eating chicken
tequila.
wings. Chicken wings. Jersey got
I'll be like,
Tequila.
nobody,
Tequila.
ain't nobody check about me. You go, because we as DJs like me and Jahad or Beloved come to New York, we get catered to and got the drinks and the ginger beer. I'm addicted to ginger beer because of the spot over in Brooklyn we used to play at. Before it closed, I can't think of it. And the one at the shelter party used to be at. I can't think of it right now. Output used to give us the ginger beer, and so
Uh-huh.
we used to have the ice and the catered to and all of that stuff. Then you go to a club in Jersey, you DJ. Okay, somebody got to walk up with the floor. You want a water? Yeah, and they got to pay for a water for me.
Oh,
This is what happens. But also, you know what? You have to know that it's true. That I've not seen it happen, but we all have to know that it has happened. That I could go to the booth and say, hey, I'm here to get a drink or water, whatever, for the DJ. And they saw me there. They saw me because the club opened at 10 and I was there at 9:45 doing things, whatever. They're like, all right, she's down with.
Yeah.
You guys know damn well that somebody that we know went to that bar and tried to play that game and they were like, no, it's not.
Honey.
Yo, I'm gonna
No,
tell you
it's
this
not.
funny story.
Like,
I'm gonna
who
tell
is
you.
you?
I'm gonna tell you this funny story. So I did this event at. I always tell the story because me and him are very close now. SMB. I did this event, a Black Fair event. It was a Black attire event at Giant Stadium, right? And I'm on the flyer. They had the hip hop room, but they had a house room, all house music, right? So if you're on the flyer, you're considered as what?
Talent.
VIP
VIP.
automatically. Get to the venue, Giant Stadium. Get to the venue, roof on the side get to the venue. Mark Francis DJ. Okay, 1 minute. I'm like, oh, what the hell? They don't know who the hell I am? Okay. They looking for some information for me. I'm the DJ. Okay, we take care of you 1 minute.
You hear papers
I'm
turning.
like, all right. I'm like, all right. They give me the thing. So now I get upstairs. They had this like whatever the Black affair people eat. Certain people eat this food. People eat this food. I'm like, yo, I'm hungry. You. That's special. You got to be. Those were people that paid for that. I said, okay, I'm the DJ. Well, you can't eat back there because your pass is green. You got to have a purple one. I'm the DJ. That's not VIP? No. I was highly upset. I'm like, okay, so I can't even eat no food?
How you
All
serve?
right.
And I'm playing
I'm
for
sitting
them.
there.
I can't eat.
Thank you.
That's just
Same thing. I'm
wrong.
pissed off. I'm sitting in the corner chilling again. I'm sitting. So then the party start. I ain't get no drink tickets yet. See, this is the thing about Jersey. They don't give no drink tickets, nobody, nothing. I ain't get no drink tickets. Somebody like, you thirsty? No, don't worry about it. Don't buy me no work. Don't buy me no liquor. I'm waiting. Still no drink tickets. I'm like, I gotta buy my own drink. I said, I would never do this event again. It hasn't been no party at the Giant Stadium, but it was like, I had to pay. I was not VIP to get food. I was not this. I'm like, yo, Jersey, come on, y'all gotta do better than this. But like I said, Jersey has their parties. It could be commercial. It could be underground. But like New York, I got comfortable. VIP tickets. Hey, Francis, these are some tickets for you. If you're thirsty, here you go. Anyone else? And you know what I do? I don't drink, so I get my tickets.
Right.
Get my tickets.
Because you know what I do? I'd be like, I know Mark doesn't drink. Mark, can I get a drink?
Yeah. She was like, we're like, can I get a drink ticket? Here you go. I don't drink. And, you know, Tony comes in. First thing we see Tony, here your drink tickets. You come out. I come to Jersey now. I gotta bring my own drink. I come here with this. But they keep us busy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we circle right back to us being them. This is what we're raised on. It's how we do it. Well, guys, we've been at this for a minute.
We have.
Yeah.
But we never did get anything from you, Mark, if there's something that you have coming up that you want to share.
Here you go.
Nothing gig. Well, just a virtual look out on October the 17th. I could say Lincoln Park is doing a virtual house music.
Okay.
Actually, they're gonna do a 3-day thing. They're gonna do arts, poetry. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it's starting Thursday. So Thursday, they're gonna do poetry. Friday is gonna be virtual gospel. Saturday, we're gonna have celebrating 10 years of Josh Milan.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
And Adam Cruz gonna do like a conference.
Nice.
Everything's gonna be on YouTube. They promote on Facebook, but it's gonna go through YouTube and I think Twitch because they have another sponsors. And the house music thing, Anthony wanted me to play in IE. And I said, you know what, let's make this like our own boiler room, right? Because I said we never had one in Jersey DJ. So I said, let's put it together where I say, let's find a venue outside. I got somebody to get the dancers. I talked to JoJo, that's in the Jersey scene. And we got some dancers, we got the cameraman, and we actually gonna make it happen.
Nice.
And we're gonna be virtually on the 17th. And we have Aaron Gray performing, coffee, and a singer, Felicia Graham. And it's going to be the dancers, virtual, just having our own thing in a secret location. And that's going to be on the 17th. And then Sunday, you have going on with Crazy Legs with the hip hop.
Yep.
So they're going to do their own thing. It's pushing about voting, pushing about a lot of different issues. Going to have a lot of guests talking. So they're going to do that virtual function. That's what I have coming up. And I'm excited for it because it's something I put together and with the ideas, and we're looking to do more with it. And the first one came out real well, and it was just different. You see like the image, I kept saying boiler room because we just never had a Jersey boiler room type of event. And it was done outside, and it was social distancing, wearing your mask and playing the music and just having fun. And then we did performances just flowing in. They announced them, just go with the vibe and in and out. And then I'm excited for that. So look out for that. It's going to be a whole weekender for Lincoln Park and stuff like that. And have a music conference, I think, with Adam Cruz because he has like a little conference about music and stuff in the industry. The mixtape sessions. So he's going to be having that.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right. Well, please be sure to look for that and do me a favor and share it to me so that I can share it to folks also. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, we have a lot of good events are going on virtually in Newark. You have the arts coming up the week after. Actually, this weekend coming up is the arts festival too. So they're going to do a lot of things with dancers and stuff like that too coming up. So.
Okay.
Awesome.
And also look for Mark's. When Mark first played for House in the House, which is my Friday event, it was early in all of this, and we had some technical difficulties. So look for Mark's.
But hey,
look for Mark's do-over. It's coming up very soon.
No. What we did, we switched to Twitch and went for a long time then.
Well, everything will be fine now. So look for Mark's do-over. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna have Keith Porter and DJ That Girl Curly joining us for Bedtime Stories. Super excited about that. I wanna. Is there something else you had to ask, Brad? You?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I'm very glad there's a lot of people still listening to us, which is awesome.
I appreciate y'all.
And thank you to everyone out there who has like taken the time to give either myself or Red a tip. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, it is really sincerely appreciated. Like for real, you know, it means so much. And thank you to Kamala and Mark Francis for being here and like sharing your time with us.
Thank you, guys.
Really had a great time with you here tonight.
This was great. This was easy breezy, fun conversation. And yeah, definitely grateful for the both of you for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll be posting the archives of this or on our YouTube page, Sin Rose and Redness's Bedtime Stories on YouTube. So you will see the archives of this as well as keep shows you may have missed.
And keep this going, ladies. This is awesome.
Yes. So on that note, my name is Red.
And I'm Sin Rose.
And this has been Bedtime Stories.
Bedtime Stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all that have been here with us this evening. And, you know, Kamala and Mark, just hold on 1 minute. But to the people out there, we say good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Bye, Bedtime Stories.